minute and get started. Namaskar, good morning. My name is Anuj Gupta from Tag and Soul Services. We welcome you to this live session on is this the right time to invest? We'll start the session in 1 minute. By then, if you can just quickly put it in the chat box who all are there on Zoom connected. A yes, yes, and a yes. That is why will help me get started if I am audible, if I am visible, and if the presentation is visible. Okay, great. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so just few seconds and we'll get started. Just receiving requests from the team that they should be here. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much. Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank you so much for joining in this live session. 23rd of November. We are at 11:02. So we are live on our YouTube channel by the name of Tag Investments as well as on Zoom. So I'll be more active on Zoom, while my team is also active on the YouTube as well as Zoom. So we'll be happy to share our thoughts as and when you ask any questions, but we'll appreciate that the questions can be asked at the end. Okay, so with this, let's get started. Thank you so much. So for all those who've been listening to us for quite some time, they are already aware that we hold these sessions on a monthly basis as a part of our monthly Investor Connect commitment. So the whole idea of such sessions are to give clarity as well as conviction to the investors who've been investing their hard-earned money or who are wanting to invest their hard-earned money into the markets, so they know what they are into, where they are invested, and the conviction level should only be increasing with time so that in the long term you can make money. So that's the objective of this session, or the objective of these monthly connects, to help you get clarity on what's going on in the economy, in the markets, and how you are supposed to manage your wealth in terms of building conviction and staying disciplined. So that's the objective. You will notice that we do not highlight or we do not promote a particular stock or a mutual fund. Having said that, in case if we do show some mutual funds or show some stocks during our presentation, that's only for example purposes. We are not promoting any product here. What we are just promoting is how you can grow your investments to the next level by building convictions. That's the objective. So the disclaimer is very, very clear that it's only for informational purposes. Please do not take this as a direct advice. Do your due diligence before investing into any of the financial products because they are subject to market risk. So with this spirit in mind, let's get started. So now, ho kya raha hai? Now I'll keep my language in English because I understand a lot of people from South are also here. I can see. At the same time, दिल है हिंदुस्तानी तो थोड़ा सा हम हिंदी भी बात करने वाले हैं. So in the last 1 year, what's happened? Generally, आप देखोगे, this is in dollar terms I'm talking about. So Brazil, China, South Korea, Mexico, Taiwan, and MSCI emerging markets all have given double-digit returns. In fact, more than 20-25% returns, while India is just at 1% or at par, as in nil returns. And generally, what we have seen is whenever in the last 1 year, or whenever in 1 year, investors when they don't make money, their confidence, their conviction goes down in terms of are they invested in the right asset class or not. We'll take up the questions at the end. I'll appreciate, so you can keep posting your questions. I'll ensure that all are answered by the end of the session. So thank you so much. Okay. So what happens with investors is when they are not able to make money over a period of time, their conviction goes down, their belief system goes down, and they tend to shift towards some other asset class. Maybe from equity, they want to shift towards real estate, or if they find no real estate is also like not so good asset class, then they end up spending that money. Maybe buying a new phone, buying a new car. The GST cut is just recently announced in the month of September 2025. So they might be excited by the news, by the ads which these wholesalers, retailers are floating around, that okay, fine, GST cut ho gaya hai, sasta ho gaya hai. So we tend to believe that okay, fine. And I just met a couple last week. They said, इससे अच्छा तो रिटर्न नहीं बन रहा है या इक्विटी नहीं चल रहा है तो हम घूमने ही चले जाते हैं। अभी अभी घूम के आए हैं 3 महीने पहले, बट अगेन वी कैन गो आउट. What's the use of keeping money invested? What I'm trying to put across is that the conviction, the belief system, when the investor entered into the equity markets with a view of 3, 5, 7, 10 years, but in the 1 year tenure, if an investor did not make money, then the belief system shifts. And that is why we are here for, to make you understand how to actually build conviction and how to actually believe in the equity growth story. Now, a little bit on specifics, what's happened is it doesn't mean that Indian markets are not good. It's just that we are in the consolidation phase. What I say, why I say is in the last 1 year, you see we've just kind of made a FD kind of a return as far as Sensex is concerned. But the good part is after the low of close to 71, 72,000 after the tariff war news, after the Pahalgam attack. So after that, the markets did give a good rise. This is on the Sensex. The Nifty again, the story is the same. From its low, it went up. It's at 26,000 levels. However, if you compare it with the September 2024 high, we have still not able to cross that. As soon as Sensex hits 85,000, as soon as Nifty hits 26,000, it kinds of uh, comes into the resistance zone and it's not able to cross that path. The story is very similar to BSC 500. Again, we've not made too much of returns in the last 1 year, although we've gone a bit high from the April, almost like a 10-15% high, which means that there is some you can strength in the Indian growth story still. Now, where things are going, now just listen to me carefully. What's happening is the Nifty, the Sensex is still fine. The BSC 500 is still okay. Where the pain started or is starting is in the mid cap. We have seen like a 3% gain in the last 1 year. And here, the devil is here, which is small cap. In the last 1 year, we made next almost like a -1, -2% return. And I have not put the micro cap index, which is the next 250 beyond the 500. So first 100 is large cap, next 150 is mid cap, next 250 is small cap, and the next 250 is the micro cap. So the micro cap, which is 501 to 750, where majority of the investors had put their hard-earned money, is almost down. At the index level, it is down by 10%, and stock specific, we might be down at 25, 30, 40% as well. Many of us who had put money in the micro cap thinking that micro cap is the next big story or small cap is the next big story, because 2020 to 2024, from 2020 to 2024, that is what the belief system was, that the small caps or the micro caps are here to make us money. And probably we entered late to the party, and that is why we are seeing what we are seeing in the last 1 year. The story in such scenario in the last 1 year, if you see, I've just spoken about the index, but when it comes to the sectors, so auto index is kind of like, if you just see from the lows of 42,000, it's gone up to 60,000. So what I'm trying to put across is, whenever there isn't a story in index, which means the small cap index or a micro cap index is not working, then you'll have to get into something called as stock specific and sector specific rotation. We call it the rotation graph, relative rotation graph, which is very, very important to understand in such a market when we are in the consolidation phase or when the index is not giving us too much of return. Especially from 2020 to 2024, we got, as investors, we got used to returns of 15, 20, 25% returns. And in the last 1 year, when we are sticking to an index like a Nifty index or a Sensex index or a mid cap, small cap, or a micro cap index, we are not making money. And that is where the frustration builds and the conviction goes down. And that is where the allocation or the diversification comes into picture and the relative rotation comes into picture, where stock specific and sector specific movements have to be captured. Similar is the story for banking index. From a low of 54, we've seen a high of 66, and it is almost trading at an all-time high. So there have been good movements in these sectors, and that is where we need to track. Now, another story which one should understand as investors is, we many a times look at index and we see, okay, knowing nothing is working and blah blah blah. But a good way of looking at the markets is from a market cap standpoint of view. Now, what is a market cap? Just to give you very, very in very simple language, supposedly Reliance share price is 1500. Similarly, Nifty is 26,000. It doesn't mean the Nifty is 26,000, so that's the market cap. Market cap is number of shares into the current price. So when we talk about the market cap of Reliance, the share price of Reliance can be 1500, but the market price of Reliance, the market capitalization of Reliance Industries is 20 lakh crores. Similarly, the market cap of the BSC stocks, which are approximately in 2024, when we hit the high, we had 5,492 stocks listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange with a market capitalization of 477 lakh crores. The good or the bad part is within this 477 lakh crores, the top 10 companies almost contributed to 1 lakh crores way back in 2024, September 2024. Then from in November, when the markets took a dip, it went down to 426 lakh crores. So when I say market cap means all the listed companies, which are like this 5,000 odd, into the current market price respectively. So multiplied with each other, that gives you the number of shares, number of companies into the current market price then. So from 477 lakh crores, we went down to 426 lakh crores. Then again, we went up to 461 lakh crores, which is last year, December. We thought that, okay, fine, the markets are improving. Then the Trump story came in, the Trump election, US election came in, Trump won. In January, he started showing something called as Trump tantrums. The tariff wars came in. We had heard the word tariff, but then it was all over the news. And come March 2025, this year, we saw a crash in the market cap from 477 lakh crores to 384 lakh crores. From there, we have seen a very, very decent upside to almost again 471 lakhs crores. And similar is the story of the top 10 market capitalization, which is like companies of Reliance, TCS, HDFC, and the likes. So again, from a 100 lakh crores to a 100 lakh crores again. So the recovery has been there, but imagine the plight of an investor who had already invested in the month of September. He or she is still yet to recover from the all-time high levels which they saw in the September 2024 of their respective portfolios. And as we speak, we are at like just the latest data, we might be at 473, 474 lakh crores, still not able to meet the market cap. Now, the good part is how market cap increases is it's by addition of new companies. You would have seen 50 first, the number of companies of 5,492. Now it is 5,837, and probably we would have added 4 or 5 more by the virtue of you see IPOs coming in, so they also add to the market cap. And second is, if the share prices increases of the respective companies, how does the share price increase? By the earnings. So what is happening is in the last few quarters, the earnings have not been that I would say impressive, and that is why we are not seeing a rise in the market cap, because ultimately share prices are nothing but slaves of earnings. So as soon as we see good earnings, we'll see a rise in market cap. Once the market cap rises, generally your money and investors' money and everybody's money is invested into the entire market, whether it's through mutual funds, whether it is through PMSs, AIFs, model funds. Your money is generally diversified into the market. So once the market cap rises, so does your money. So you need to understand the concept of market cap along with the index as well. So that was a little bit on the market cap. And just to give you a sense on the market cap itself, I'll try and see if I can share an Excel to give you some understanding what has happened about in the market cap. Just a minute. Okay, let me open a Excel. So here is the Excel. So somebody in the chat box can just give me a quick thumbs up or a yes if the Excel sheet is visible. A blank Excel sheet. Zoomed it. Okay, thank you. So 2020, what happened in 2020? The market cap was at 100 lakh crores. 100 lakh crores. And in 2024, when we saw the peak, September 2024, we went up to 477 lakh crores. So this is what exactly happened. And as we speak in 2025, November, we are at 473 lakh crores. Now, Please understand what has happened is right from 100 level, that is 100 lakh crore level market cap, we went up to 477 lakh, almost in a tenure of 4.5 years, which is like a 4.5, 4.7, almost like a 5x returns in 4.5 years, which has actually never happened. And that is where you see the smart people means the FIs, foreign institutional investors, started taking exit. It doesn't mean that they are not believing in the India growth story or India growth story is finished. It is just that they are kind of, mainly they have a hunting mentality. So as soon as they saw a growth of 100 to 5x, almost of 4x, 100 to 400 lakh crores, they started exiting, and that is where the pinch is being felt as far as the appreciation of the share prices or the market cap is concerned, because we are seeing a consistent FII outflow. Having said that, it is uh, very normal to see such a characteristic that after such a beautiful run up, which at least we in the last 15-20 years of our history, we did not see beyond the 2008 run up. After the crash, we saw a good run up, but beyond that, we've not seen. Now, the good part in such things is that once we see a price correction, there is something called as a price correction, and there is something called as a time correction. Now, if we compare it with, say, way back, because generally the devil is in the numbers and devil is in the history as well. So we saw between 2009 to 2013 kind of a time correction which came up. So generally what we have seen is the longer the time correction, the longer the consolidation phase, the better it is for the next bull run. And that is what we saw from 2014 onwards, if you just go back to history. So again, we are seeing from 2024 to 2025, we have seen a consolidation phase. I'll try and show you what I'm trying to say. I'll open up a Google thing. Okay. So let me share my presentation itself. Okay. So when I say a consolidation phase is, this is what the consolidation phase is. This level. So what is happening is the longer the consolidation, we will be entering into a next big bull run. So 1 year is a very decent time correction or a consolidation phase. Probably 1 or 2 quarters is what we feel we should be still in that consolidation phase. Once the quarter results are out, we should be in a much better situation. Now, just to understand things better from a Nifty 500, because that is where a majority of the money is going of the investors. So that is pretty much in shape. This is, if you see 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, it's kind of in the upward trajectory. So things look good as far as the broad markets are concerned. Now, looking deeper as to what's in store for the future, again, the devil is in the numbers. The results, the September quarter results, that is the July, August, September results are almost out of the top 500 companies, out of which 303 companies did positive, as in they gave positive results. 161 gave negative results, and 35 odd gave neutral results. Now, what were the results that of those combined 500 companies? 6% revenue growth, which is like kind of little less. We want more. EBIT growth was 17.7 and operating profit growth was 12.7. So just to put it in normal parlance, EBIT growth and operating profit growth is good. It's just that the revenue growth needs to catch up. Maybe a impact was felt in the last month of September, where the kind of prices fluctuated because of the GST cut. Many of the industries had to slash their GST to zero, and there was kind of a market turmoil in terms of किस पे GST लगेगा किस पे नहीं लगेगा. So there was some confusion, but everything was beautifully wrapped up within the September month. And October we saw a bumper sale, whether it is automobiles, whether it is in the consumption story, which is yet to be reflected because we are in the month of November. So October, November, December results should be out in the month of January and February, and that is where we feel the next big thing can happen. So again, I will repeat, on the quarter results till September, the results have been decent. Only the revenue growth is missing. It should be a double digit, which we are expecting in the month of January. Why? Because October, November, December, In the month of October, it was Diwali season. Plus, to top it up, in the September month, GST rate cuts were announced. People rushed to buy in the month of October due to Diwali season, due to GST rate cuts, and due to heavy advertisements from all over the, you can say, vendors telling this is sasta ho gaya, ye sasta ho gaya. Even when I went to a shopping mall, uh, when I was just having a look at the shirt, so he told me कि सर ये वाला लग्जरी शर्ट है, ये वाला नॉर्मल शर्ट है, इसमें जीएसटी कट होके आपको मिलेगा, इसमें ये लग्जरी आइटम है तो इसमें नहीं मिलेगा, तो आपको ये वाला पसंद आ रहा है तो ये वाला ले लो. तो मैंने कहा हाँ दैट्स ओके फाइन. So what I'm trying to say is people were pushing very hard in terms of making the consumers buy, purchase. कि ये सस्ता हो गया, 200 रुपये सस्ता हो गया, 500 रुपये सस्ता हो गया. इट इज द फर्स्ट टाइम वी सॉ कि इवन मिल्क प्रोडक्ट्स, जो कि जनरली होता नहीं है, मिल्क प्रोडक्ट्स बिकेम चीपर, paneer became cheaper, vegetables became cheaper, so on and so forth. So it's a big consumption story which is playing its role slowly, gradually in the month of October, November, December. So that is where we are positive from the next quarter onwards. Now, what happens in the IPO space? IPOs, I am assuming everybody is aware, initial public offering. So generally what happens is, as investors, what we concentrate on is something called as a listing gain. हम IPO में apply करते हैं. अगर लिस्टिंग इन हो जाता है, तो अगर एडवाइजर ने करा होगा आपको एडवाइस, तो आप खुश हो जाते हो. अगर अगर नेगेटिव रिटर्न मिलता है तो आप दुखी हो जाते हो, कहते हो कि एडवाइजर अच्छा नहीं है. या अगर आपने खुद अप्लाई कर रखा होता है और आपको रिटर्न मिल जाता है, तो यू फील दैट यू हैव डन अ गुड जॉब, एंड probably within that 1 week or 10 days you forget about the listing gains and the listing losses and you're done with it. But that's not the story with these fund managers who are managing these funds through the PMS, AIF, model funds, and mutual fund route. They keep a close eye on these IPOs, the new companies. They are beautiful companies, let me tell you. We as retail investors, individual investors, we concentrate on very short term philosophy, which is listing gain hua ya nahi hua. But these fund managers, they are very, very careful in studying these newly formed, newly listed companies, because they can be very beautiful in terms of giving good returns over a period of time. And they slowly, gradually track these companies, the fund managers, and then they keep on adding these companies, these newly listed companies, if they have real potential, after viewing them for a few quarters, which you and me safely ignore because we forget about them. We are generally after those old companies which we have heard of, which we are able to track, or which we are able to, or which we are aware of. But fund managers, they keep on tracking these newly listed companies, and that is where the alpha or the extra return is generated when you are invested through a fund route or a diversified portfolio route. And that is what we are preaching, or kind of encouraging you to have a diversified portfolio rather than a very small concentrated portfolio, because it may not work in favor of the investor. Now, in such conditions, like we were just reading Warren Buffett, he's officially announced his retirement. Warren Buffett, for all those who are not aware, one of the greatest of all time investor, started at a very early age. As of now, he's 92 years of age. He runs a company by the name of Berkshire Hathaway. So he's taken a voluntary retirement at the age of 92, stating that probably it's time to hand over. But remembering him and his quotes, so one of a few of the quotes which are holding relevance in today's scenario is, one is, as we read, if you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control your money. What is happening is we are surrounded by these news, and especially the AI innovation, evolution, which has come up. We get a lot of chat GPT commands. We get a lot of friends, influencers, noise, news, which makes us go crazy. And we are kind of here and there, and we are kind of full of emotions. So we have to control our emotions, because only then we will be able to control our money. Second is where we are just investing based on some guidance from XYZ person, and just spreading here and there, thinking that we are well diversified. So it's very, very important to understand where you are investing. So risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. So in the investment world, you need to be very, very sure, you need to be very, very convinced, and you need to have a belief system and a basic knowledge of where the money is going. Last not the least, discipline discipline always wins over intelligence in terms of investing. What I mean by that is, what Warren Buffett says is, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. Investing is not a game where the guy with 160 IQ beats the guy with 130 IQ. What this means is many a time we are always on phone, we are always studying this chart, that chart, the technical chart ho jayega, and these days there are lots and lots of you can say financial influencers in the market. There are a lot of courses which are floating around. We tend to study this, we tend to do that, we tend to gain a lot of knowledge, and then we end up getting confused because too much of knowledge also bad. Because the point here is in the last 15 years we were having something called as lack of knowledge because of lack of information, and in the next 15 years we are going to have abundance of knowledge and abundance of information. So last 15 years, why people did not make money? Because they did not have knowledge, they did not have information. The next 15 years, again, there will be a set of investors who will not make money because of too much of knowledge and too much of information. So both are bad. You have to be very neutral and you have to just stay disciplined when it comes to investment. So that is the mantra from Warren Buffett quotes, which you can take away what I'm trying to put across from here. Now, having said that, what next? The markets, the topic for today is it is the right time to invest. So let's talk a little bit on that. So generally, why the market should move up and what are the four factors which makes the market move? So one is obviously the economic conditions. The GDP, it's a नो ब्रेनर. आप चैट जीपीटी से पूछ लो, आप गूगल से पूछ लो, आप इंटरनेट से पूछ लो, आप अपने आप से पूछ लो, आप मेरे से पूछ लो, आप इकोनॉमिक्स से पूछ लो. India's GDP is the fastest in the world. At least from the next 3, 5, 10 years, we are going to be the fastest growing economy in the world. And this has been published and accepted worldwide. Inflation is in control. Beyond that, however, we still need to invest. Why? Because healthcare inflation, education inflation is here to stay. In India, healthcare, all the people who have young children need to be very, very careful because the education cost is high. पीपल हु आर एज्ड और आजकल तो 30-40 वाले भी बीमार पड़ जाते हैं और खांसते रहते हैं और स्पेशली अगर दिल्ली एनसीआर में कोई रह रहा है तो खास खास के ही पागल हो रहा है बट व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू पुट अक्रॉस इज बिकॉज ऑफ द लाइफस्टाइल which we are leading, we are subject to this healthcare cost. This is beyond the mediclaim I'm talking about. So that inflation will hit us, and that is why intelligent investing needs to be done. Disciplined investing needs to be done. But overall, inflation is in control. थर्ड, मैरिज सीजन चल रहा है अभी, सो that is obviously way too high. I'm going to attend a marriage today, I'm going to attend a marriage tomorrow, and maybe day after as well. So continuously 3 marriages. I've attended few in the past, in the recent past. खर्चा मतलब beyond imagination होता है. Inflation is beyond imagination when it comes to marriages, healthcare and education. So that is where one needs to take care of. And let me tell you, inflation from a market standpoint of view, अच्छा है because people make more margins. The business people, they make more margins. Once they make more margins, uh, the money ultimately flows to the markets and the markets rise. Interest rates, we are in a declining interest rate scenario, which is good because bad for FD investors जो FDs कराते हैं, fixed deposits कराते हैं, उनके लिए बुरा है. But for people who are borrowing money, who wants to buy, who wants to borrow, चाहे वो कार लोन के लिए हो, होम लोन के लिए हो, कंज्यूमर लोन के लिए हो, पर्सनल लोन के लिए, उन लोगों के लिए अच्छा होता है. एंड जब लोग बोरो करते हैं प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज के लिए, कंज्यूम करने के लिए, तो इकोनॉमी को बूस्ट मिलता है एंड मार्जिन क्रिएट होते हैं, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी क्रिएट होती है, रेवेन्यू क्रिएट होता है, एंड उसकी वजह से द मार्केट कैप, एज आई एक्सप्लेन्ड यू, द share prices go up because the earnings go up. So it is good for the market. So this is the economic conditions look very, very good and favorable from an India standpoint of view. Global में आप देखोगे oil prices. I was just having a quick look at the oil prices. So from 2020 से लेकर 2025 तक we are almost at the bottom. मतलब it's a good oil price which अभी, because हम लोग oil को काफी consume करते हैं बाहर के देशों से. But the good part is there are two things. One, the oil prices are in control. 2022 के peak से तो almost आधा आ चुका है, तो that is in good control. Second, we are already finding replace of oil through the other sources. You can say natural resources, चाहे वो solar energy हो and likes of the same हो. So we are almost kind of on that trajectory to accept other alternatives to oil. So India is doing a good job there. So no problem. US markets, बिकॉज वो होता है ना कि अगर दादाजी को झटका लगेगा तो बच्चे को झटका लगेगा, पोते को झटका लगेगा, तो इट इज लाइक दैट. तो यूएस मार्केट्स आर कंसिडरेबली गुड. द लिटिल वी नो अबाउट ट्रम्प एंड इट्स टेंट्रम्स, all should be in kind of management within a quarter or so. The excitement from his side should be over in the next 1 or 2 quarters. That is what is anticipated by the market forces. So US markets also look fine. Geopolitical things are kind of normalized in terms of acceptance as to what's happening. So global cues also बहुत ज़्यादा tension नहीं लग रहा है. Corporate performance, we spoke about it. In the last quarter, it's on the growth trajectory, but the revenue growth is still at 6%. We feel that this quarter should go by and the next quarter, and the earnings should pick up, the profit margin should pick up, and the revenue growth should pick up. So January, February will be closely watched, but it looks fine. मार्केट सेंटिमेंट्स में अभी भी जो सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत है वो एफआईआई आउटफ्लो की है. They have been continuously, relentlessly taking out money from the Indian markets. The reason, as I told you, not because they are in hate story with India. They are in love with India. In fact, they have been thanking India because from 2020 to 2023, 2024, they made a good run up. They made like lifetime money, whatever they have to make. And then they shifted their money maybe towards China, towards Japan, towards Vietnam, towards Korea, so on and so forth. So once they have made good money from there, it's like घर वापसी to India. So कब आएंगे? इस महीने आएंगे, अगले महीने आएंगे, अगले क्वार्टर आएंगे, अगले से अगले क्वार्टर आएंगे. But they should be coming back soon. Whenever they come back, it's going to be a tsunami. Let me tell you that. Having said that, हम आत्मनिर्भर इंडिया ऑलरेडी बन चुके हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द डीआईए फ्लोज. द गुड पार्ट इज जितना एफआईआई ने निकाला है उससे ज्यादा डीआईएस ने डाला है. डीआईए मतलब डोमेस्टिक इंस्टीट्यूशन इनफ्लोज होते हैं, एंड ऑल्सो कंट्रीब्यूशन बाय यूएनएस. Emotions are all good. It's in control. The India VIX is in control. That's the volatility index. It looks fine. The news around India and stuff is very neutral. कोई ऐसा बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है. It's just that थोड़ा सा जो ये टैरिफ वाला चीज होता है कि एक्सपोर्ट कितना लगेगा, all those things are in talks and should be soon, you can say, over. सो ओवरऑल फ्रॉम अ इकोनॉमिक स्टैंड पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, इनकम टैक्स कट जो ये 12 लाख तक की छूट हुई है वो इस साल महसूस होगी. मार्च 2026 जब खत्म होगा, यू विल सी द इम्पैक्ट. लार्जली इंटरेस्ट रेट कट हो रहा है, जीएसटी कट हो गया, करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट इज इन कंट्रोल, corporate profit to GDP is good, GDP growth is fastest, macro indicators look good, political stability and policy continuity is there. We just saw the Bihar NDA election, a straight run up for the NDA government. So that policy continuance and political stability in India seems okay. Two issues which we highlighted: FII's sellings and the trade deal with US, which we feel that matter of few months, quarters, and that should be done. So this is with respect to the economic point of view. अब थोड़ा सा टेक्निकली अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं क्विकली ऑन द निफ्टी पीई. नाउ दिस इज लाइक अ प्राइस टू अर्निंग भाव भगवान छह बोलते हैं. तो व्हाट इज देयर इन द नंबर? सो दिस इज द लेटेस्ट नंबर ऑफ पीई, दैट इज 22.45. आप ये रेड मार्क्स देख रहे हो, दिस मींस लाइक a killer or a red flag. So we are not seeing any red flags for quite some time. It is just that 22 is kind of not undervalued, not overvalued, not costly, not cheap. It is like an average or just above average, you can say. So it's not that आपको अंधाधुंध पैसा लगाना है, कहीं पे भी लगाना है. You will have to be specific. You will have to have the good allocation strategies. And it is not a time to just, जैसे हमने 2020 से 2024 में करा था, buy anything, just buy the news. That's not the time just now. You have to be very, very careful in terms of your stock selection, sector selection, and allocation. While 22.45 is reasonable, but you need to be very, very selective. Why? Now, what is happening? You need to understand as we speak, there are demat accounts being created. Almost like 20 crore plus demat accounts have been opened. There are 10 crore investors who have been participating. Close to 1 crore, 2 crores are into derivative trading heavily. So, all these things are kind of encouraging. At the same time, it's of concern as well. Now, why is that of concern? Is because like he's one of the famous fund managers from ICICI. So what he says is, do not put everything into one asset class. Asset allocation is the only way to stay safe, and that is what the philosophy we also believe in, and that is what the framework is all about when it comes to money management. It's all about allocation, allocation, and allocation. Just to understand things little deeper from from a you can say industry, mutual fund industry point of view. Now what is happening, these are kind of, because we have to put our money somewhere, so ultimately from a industry, because this is the organized industry, that is why I'm giving you an example of the mutual fund industry here, so it gives you a good understanding where the money is going. While the market cap is approximately 477 lakh crores, out of that close to 70 or rather 80 lakh crores is in through the mutual fund route, and rest are through the direct route, but that is more formalized and organized. So I'm going to give you some data points from there. Out of that 80 lakh crores, almost 30 lakh crores is in the equity domain. Now within the equity, there is something called a small cap, large cap, mid cap, flexi cap, sectoral, focus, multi cap, value, ELSs, and large and mid cap. Now the bad part or the good part is that investors have participated heavily, but they have only gone on the basis of past performance, and thereby making them enter into something called as sectoral or thematic schemes, which can be very dangerous if it is not well allocated. There is no harm in taking sectoral or thematic funds, but first you need to have a good large mid flexi cap in your kitty. Only then enter into something called a sectoral thematics. What we have noticed is people directly enter into small caps and sectoral thematics, and with a time horizon of 1 or 2 years, as in they get judgmental within a time period of 1 or 2 years, whereas you need to have a time horizon of 7 8 years when you are entering into small caps or thematics. And sometimes in thematics, even 7 8 years can be not very cannot like can be futile, or it may not be very fruitful. So depending on which thematics are you betting on, so that also depends. So again, it all boils down to the allocation part of it. Now, one thing which is like a sad story, or which from an observation point of view, out of the 80 lakh crores, only 10% is going into something called as balance. I'm not talking about you as an investor specifically. I'm talking about the industry as a whole. Only 8 lakh crores is in the hybrid category. While people are wanting safety of their capital, but they are not willing to accept a nominal growth as compared, like they are putting money in FDs thinking that okay fine, it is safe. Maybe it is for laziness reason, maybe it is for kind of over analysis reason, and they end up making 4 5 6 7% returns. Whereas this category, the hybrid category, it consists of dynamic asset allocation, where if you want gold, silver, along with debt and equity allocation, so that's called dynamic asset allocation. Multi asset allocation also is there. Dynamic is like where the fund manager has the flexibility to choose between debt and equity allocation. Arbitrage fund, balance, hybrid. There is conservative category, there is moderate category, and there is aggressive category within the balance space. But if you just notice, these are very, very small. There is very small participation. Now, this can be because of the lack of conviction. It can be because of the lack of confidence. But let me tell you, this works out to be much, much better as compared to fixed income. Somebody who's wanting less risk and wanting kind of a inflation beaten returns, then this is the category to go with. Especially equity savings fund category, conservative hybrid fund categories. These are a good replace from a taxation point of view and from a return point of view to look at when you are looking at safety first, appreciation next. So these are the categories to watch out for. Apart from that, if you see, index funds are catching momentum, ETFs are catching momentum, overseas funds are seeing kind of exit. So that's an early sign that probably investing overseas may not be a good idea. Probably believe in the India growth story, or believe in your local story. However, having said that, somebody from a allocation point of view of 5 to 10% allocation overseas funds, it's okay through direct equity route or through the fund of fund route. Now, what's happening? I just came up with this thought. Uh, I was sitting with a couple last week or 10 days back. Like both are into the government services, and they said that they have this 40 odd lakh rupees. They have two children. They said 20 lakhs का हमारे घर के पास ही एक कुछ ऐसा, दिस इज द रियल पिक्चर बाय द वे, ऐसा कुछ दुकानें बिक्री हैं 20 20 लाख की, तो हमारे पास 40 लाख रुपए पड़े हुए हैं, तो वाई नॉट इन्वेस्ट 20 20 लाख रुपीज इन दोनों बच्चों के नाम पे कर देते हैं, और मोटा मोटा 15,000 का रेंट मिल जाएगा. दैट्स व्हाट देयर थॉट वाज. एंड दे आस्क्ड मी, मतलब they happened to sit with me and they happened to have this discussion and they happened to ask me, is there an alternative? And simply I had this chart in front of me, this image in front of me, and I showed them, okay, 20 lakh rupees, one choice is that you can buy a real estate, earn that 15,000 और रेंट, बट इट इज सब्जेक्टिव. आपको पहले उसमें अंदर फर्निशिंग करानी पड़ेगी, पूरा बिजली, बिकॉज इट्स रॉ. दिस इज अ रॉ थिंग, लाइक इफ यू सी, दिस इज प्योर रॉ. इसमें आपको पेंटिंग भी करानी पड़ेगी, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी लगानी पड़ेगी, थोड़ा सा डिसेंट बनाना पड़ेगा, उसके बाद फिर रेंट पे चढ़ेगा. एंड विथ नो गारंटी के जो आपका टेनेंट है वो हमेशा आपको रेंट टाइमली देगा, एंड अगर देगा भी तो कब छोड़ के चला जाएगा, एंड देन यू हैव टू फाइंड अ रिप्लेस. प्लस देयर इज नो पार्शियल लिक्विडिटी. So all those things we had a discussion. Exit route is not so easy, and there are a lot of brokerages costs, there are a lot of middleman costs. जब आप खरीदोगे तो स्टैम्प ड्यूटी, जीएसटी कॉस्ट, बहुत सारी कॉस्ट आती हैं when it comes to real estate. And all for a reason. यहाँ पे रह तो सकते नहीं, and they are kind of well off. They are not going to open a shop by themselves. They are only buying it for investment purpose. So the second thought was that the whole objective is to get a monthly income for their children. That's what the plan is. So I showed them this history of last 10 years जहाँ पे आप 20 लाख रुपए एक हाइब्रिड फंड में अगर आप डालते हो, it's a hybrid fund where you can generate a 15,000 rupees of monthly. This is a real case study जहाँ पे आपने 15,000 रुपए पर मंथ आप निकालो, प्लस 10 years तक आपने 15,000 रुपए जब निकाले तो अप्रोक्सीमेटली आपने 17,95,000, मतलब 17,85,000 रुपीज तो आपने विड्रॉ कर लिए बाय वर्च्यू ऑफ 15,000 मंथली SWP, सिस्टमैटिक विड्रॉल प्लान. प्लस ये जो 20 lakhs की जो ग्रोथ हुई वो 27.55 lakhs पहुंच गई. सो यू हैव टू चॉइसेस. वन, आप रियल एस्टेट में पैसा डाइवर्ट कर दो बिकॉज थिंकिंग इट्स अ गुड इन्वेस्टमेंट एसेट क्लास, वाइल इट इज, बट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ लूप होल्स देयर. कोई गारंटी नहीं है इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि आपको रेंट मिलेगा ही मिलेगा, पार्शियल लिक्विडिटी नहीं है, इजी एग्जिट्स नहीं है, एंड कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड रिस्क है. यहाँ पे क्या है, आपको कभी भी मन चाहे आप निकाल सकते हो, पार्शियल एग्जिट कर सकते हो. एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली, समबडी हु इज इन द नॉन टैक्स ब्रैकेट, यदि आप डिविडेंड के थ्रू, मतलब वन इज थ्रू द SWP route and one is through like systematic withdrawal plan. आप दो तरीके से कर सकते हो, one is through the growth plan and one is through the dividend plan. यदि dividend आप लेते हो और आपकी इनकम 12 लाख से कम है तो आपकी ये टैक्स फ्री इनकम हो जाएगी. सो देर इज नो प्रॉब्लम अबाउट मैनेजिंग द रियल एस्टेट और kind of renovating the real estate. So it's like a kind of a zero maintenance fund. So, and like a CAGR of 11.6, this has been generating a return of 11.6. Now, many a times investors, when we are talking to investors, and we tell के 10-12, because that couple who was sitting with me, they told के return कितना आ जाता है, तो I told them 10-12% आ जाता है. So, now, while they liked the plan and they actually went ahead and cancelled their real estate deal and they entered into this after understanding in depth about this concept. Now, in the last 25 years, what we have seen, the Nifty index has given approximately a 12 or just higher than a 12% return. And this, what we believe is, ये तब था last 25 when the markets were not organized. It was very unorganized. There was a very big parallel unorganized market. Today as we speak, we are into an organized market. A lot of things have become digitized, a lot of things have become organized, and majority of the sectors are into the organized sector. So we have no reason not to believe that in the next 10, 12, 15, 20 years, this that is 2047, so at least 22 years to बचे ही बचे हैं. That's the big you can say timeline we have, 1947 to 2047, when India completes 100 years of independence. So 22 years, which for all of us is a good time period to make money. अगर हम 12% का भी रिटर्न मान लेते हैं, while many of us might complain 12% is no return, 20, 25, 30% मिलना चाहिए, मिलेगा, but even if we do our simple maths around 12%, understand how it works. 1 lakh rupees, if invested for next 20 years at the rate of 12%, the money becomes 10 times. That's more than enough. Now, supposedly from a 12, if you are able to get 14, 16, 18, 20, good for us, good for you. But what I'm trying to put across is, if you are a disciplined investor for a long term, even a 12% return can give you a good corpus at the end of that 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Similarly, a SIP of simple 10,000 rupees for 20 years can become, at the rate of 12%, it can generate you a 1 crore corpus. And if you are well diversified, well allocated in the right, you can say, assets, then a 14, 16% is also doable, and which can fetch you like a 1.3 or a 1.75 crores over a period of 20 years with a simple SIP of 10,000. So to answer questions, is this a right time to invest? The answer is simple, yes. However, It comes with something called as if you are a long-term investor. Now, long-term investment is not 20 years. Please understand. Long-term investment starts with 3 years with 10 plus years. More the better because the power of compounding comes into picture. But even if you have a 3 year horizon, yes, this is a good time. Somebody who's not started their SIPs, it's a good time to start SIP. Somebody who's already doing a SIP, it's a beautiful time to start or top up a SIP. That's like evergreen option. Why? What happens is whenever the markets are in consolidation phase, it's simple. If it's going down, if it's going up, you keep on accumulating units. So it's the power of accumulation of units rather than NAVs. So always remember in SIPs, you are kind of accumulating units on an ongoing basis. If it's cheap, NAV is cheap, you are accumulating more units, so you are always a happy investor. Asset allocation, asset allocation, asset allocation, and asset allocation. That is only what we have learned in the last 15 years of our experience. And the next 15, 30 years are also going to be the same philosophy, what we believe that it's the asset allocation game. You have to keep patience for the compounding to work. SWP strategy, all those who are wanting a kind of a systematic withdrawal or kind of a monthly income, this strategy works out to be good. Somebody who's worried in terms of I have a lump sum money, what should I be doing? So I think all in, you should put in all your money in the next 3 to 9 months. There is no sense waiting because whenever the growth starts, it will not stop. And we are in that bull phase. And when I say bull phase, it's for the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years here to stay. The last 1 year, it was consolidation, it was not correction. Please understand, we were in the consolidation phase, not a bear phase. So the bull run is here to stay. Now, just an analogy, we have seen SIP investors doing a good job. There is a good number of SIP investors. So this is the picture of Delhi. It basically Delhi is like expanding like this. Delhi NCR बोलते हैं. उसमें बहुत सारे इलाके आ गए हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें आ गई. All those who are Delhi based, they will understand. Delhi spreads like this. मतलब Delhi ऐसे spread हो रहा है, Delhi NCR region. And ऐसे ही SIP investors spread हो रहे हैं. Well, there are huge number of SIP participation, SIP investors participation, and this is the picture of Mumbai. मुंबई ऐसे बढ़ता है ऊपर की तरफ बिकॉज वहां पे दरिया है, वहां पे समुंदर है, तो इसलिए ऐसे एक्सपैंड नहीं कर सकता है. इट राइजेस दिस. नाउ व्हाट्स द एनालॉजी आई एम ट्राइंग टू पुट अक्रॉस इज व्हाइल SIP investors have spread, there are good number of SIPs investors वो spread हो ही रहे हैं. The average SIP is मतलब मैं इंडिया का एवरेज बता रहा हूँ, approximately 2500 to 3500 है. Very soon we are going to build or going up like Mumbai. ऐसे हम माले पे माले माले पे माले हम अपना SIP एवरेज SIP 5 से 6 हजार देखने वाले हैं. विच मीन जो हमारा अभी 30,000 करोड़ का इनफ्लो है, दैट इज सून गोइंग टू बिकम 50,000, 60,000 एंड 1 लाख करोड़ पर मंथ. बिकॉज SIP इन्वेस्टर्स ऐसे स्प्रेड तो हो ही रहे हैं, प्लस अपनी SIPs भी ऐसे बढ़ा रहे हैं. अब क्यों बढ़ा रहे हैं? लेट मी टेल यू अ शॉर्ट लाइक in as I told you, marriage season chal raha hai. I myself have got a lot of invitations and I will be visiting today, tomorrow, day after. Now एक के मतलब हमारी सोसाइटी में भी एक शादी थी, तो वहाँ पे आई जस्ट हैपन टू गो डाउन, तो वहाँ पे लेडीज वगैरह थी, तो वहाँ पे एक साड़ी ड्रेपर मतलब there was a there was a set of people who were sari drapers. मतलब सारे females के साड़ी को drape करते हैं and they make their hairstyle. So I asked them their fee. One day fees was 75,000. 75,000 रुपए एक दिन का, एक आदमी का, एक मतलब एक हेयर ड्रेसर का या एक साड़ी ड्रेपर का जो कॉस्ट था, इट इज 75,000 रुपीज पर डे. Plus, there was a function in the society, so there were these people who do massage, जो मतलब head massage करते हैं, body massage करते हैं. तो I asked him कि आपकी क्या cost है? So he's saying one day का when we are attending these things, so it is 20,000 rupees, 20,000 रुपए लेते हैं. What I'm trying to put across is, it is not that only the organized sector, or I would say the IT professionals, the corporates, or the government employees are the ones who are making money. Even the unorganized sector or even people like I just mentioned, they are making in fact more money than IT professionals can make. You would have heard a lot of stories, a lot of reels, a lot of memes saying के एक IT प्रोफेशनल जो खुद 1 से 1.5 लाख रुपए कमाता है, वो जब ठेले पे चाय पीने जाता है तो ठेले वाला ही रोज के 10,000, 15,000 रुपए कमा लेता है, तो महीने के 3 से 4 लाख रुपए वो कमा लेता है, जो ठेला वाला होता है, जो चाय बेच रहा होता है. So that is true, and all these thela walas, all these sari drapers, all these massage walas, they are making good money. In fact, the vegetable vendor, जहाँ से हम सब्जी खरीदते हैं, शी इज अ लेडी। मैं आपको 10 साल पहले की या 12 साल पहले की कहानी बता रहा हूँ। शी विजिटेड माई ऑफिस सेइंग कि भैया जी मैं रोज के 5,000 रुपये बचाती हूँ, एवरी सिंगल डे मैं 5,000 बचाती हूँ। ये मैं 10-12 साल पहले की बात बता रहा हूँ। तो यू कैन इमेजिन आज वो कहाँ पे होगी। एंड शी डज अ SIP with us. She we made her apply a PAN card, and she does a SIP. Now you can imagine the kind of saving she must be doing. So all this is going to come in the formal economy by a virtue of consumption, by a virtue of digitization, by virtue of investments. Many a people will be doing SIP. Many a people will be doing stocks, mutual funds. Many a people, if not this, they will be consuming, they will be spending, they will be saving, they will be doing all these digital transactions, and that is where the economic conditions will improve. So, a quick thing, uh, is it the right time to invest? So, आपको करना क्या है is you have to simply uh, just simply keep on reviewing, restructuring and reinvesting your hard earned money. आपका जहां पर भी है आपको रिव्यू करना पड़ेगा, रीस्ट्रक्चर करना पड़ेगा और री इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा। एक छोटी सी एक्सरसाइज आपको करनी पड़ेगी अपने साथ। एंड इफ मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर ऑलरेडी एसोसिएटेड विद अस, इफ नॉट समबडी हु हैज बीन इनवाइटेड एज अ स्पेशल गेस्ट, सो व्हाट यू आर सपोज्ड टू बी डूइंग इज आपको ये एलोकेशन समझना है, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। व्हाट वी आर सीइंग इज पीपल आर स्प्रेड, दे आर जस्ट, मतलब वो कहते हैं ना, कभी इधर से कभी उधर से कुछ भी लेते रहते हैं। सो उसकी वजह से दे डोंट हैव अ कंसोलिडेटेड व्यू। इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव अ कंसोलिडेटेड व्यू। एंड व्हेन आई से कंसोलिडेटेड व्यू का मतलब क्या है, इसके कितना पैसा आपका टोटल मनी में से, how much money is going in equity, how much is going in debt, how much is going in liquid. Liquid means where it is easily withdrawable and you can spend it for exigency, emergency and guilt free needs. लार्ज कैप में कितना है, मिड कैप में कितना है, स्मॉल कैप में कितना है। सो ये सारा का सारा आपके पास लिखा हुआ होना चाहिए, आपके पास रिव्यू सिस्टम होना चाहिए, आपके पास डैशबोर्ड होना चाहिए जहां पे आपको एक ही साथ ये सारा डेटा मिल जाए। Many a times I have noticed this that people for mutual funds also they have 3 to 4 applications. कोई डायरेक्ट म्यूचुअल फंड ले रहा है, कोई इस एप्लीकेशन से ले रहा है, कोई वहां से ले रहा है, कोई ये ले रहा है। सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड यू विल नेवर एवर बी एबल टू डायग्नोज व्हाट्स रॉन्ग विथ यू इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स। बिकॉज अगर आपका अलग अलग जगह से है पैसा स्प्रेड, तो आप कभी भी ऐसी चार्ट, कंसोलिडेट चार्ट नहीं बना पाओगे, कंसोलिडेट व्यू नहीं ले पाओगे। और उसकी वजह से जब आपके पास कंसोलिडेट व्यू नहीं होता है, आप री इन्वेस्ट, रीस्ट्रक्चर, रिव्यू नहीं कर पाते हो, एंड यू कीप ऑन पोस्टपोनिंग थिंग्स विच कैन बी वेरी वेरी डेंजरस। जस्ट टू गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल, जब पेट दर्द होता है तो हमारे हमारे लाइक व्हाट हैपेंस इज, हमने मतलब एटलीस्ट हमारे जो अ, मतलब एक तरीके से एल्डर्स थे, वो क्या कहते थे, हम लोग कहते थे कि मेरे को पेट दर्द हो रहा है, मैं एलोपैथी मेडिसिन ले लूंगा। सो देश से नहीं नहीं वो तो ले ले, बट साथ साथ ना आयुर्वेदा भी ले ले, नेचुरोपैथी भी ले ले, होम्योपैथी भी ले ले। तो डू दिस ट्रीटमेंट ऑल्सो, कोई हार्म थोड़ी ना है, साथ में ले ले और सस्ती भी आती है जनरली। सो उनकी एडवाइस बुरी नहीं थी, देयर एडवाइस इज नॉट बैड, their recommendation is not bad to have a diversified approach when it comes to health management. But just imagine a case that मेरा पेट दर्द हो रहा है, मेरे फादर ने कहा कि तू एलोपैथी तो ले ले बट तू ऑल्सो रेफर अ सेकेंड थर्ड फोर्थ डॉक्टर। एंड आई बिकॉज एज पर द एडवाइस आई रेफर टू दैट डॉक्टर, डॉक्टर वन, डॉक्टर टू, डॉक्टर थ्री। डॉक्टर वन ने एक मेडिसिन दी, डॉक्टर टू ने एक मेडिसिन दी और डॉक्टर थ्री ने एक मेडिसिन दी। नाउ जस्ट इमेजिन द प्लाइट ऑफ द पेशेंट विच इज मी। अगर मैं सुबह एक डॉक्टर वन की मेडिसिन लूँ, दोपहर में डॉक्टर टू की मेडिसिन लूँ और शाम को डॉक्टर थ्री की मेडिसिन लूँ, क्या मैं सही हो पाऊंगा? The quick answer is a big no, which means I need to follow one person. I need to follow one framework. I cannot be putting my money in three frameworks because हमारे पूर्वज कुछ सिखा के गए थे कि डाइवर्सिफाई कर। While that is good, diversification is good, but आपको एक framework में आना पड़ेगा। So with respect to your investments, what I am just trying to put across here is, or advocate here is, कि आपको simply you will have to put it into one dashboard, one framework, so that you can view your investments onto one platform. It is very easy and doable for you and us to review, restructure, and rebalance. With this, I would say thank you so much for giving your valuable time. It's 55 minutes up. As per our promise, it's a 45-minute session followed by a one-to-one session. Now, what you all need to do as a next step is I'm going to share you a link, uh, which many of us will be having. But in case you don't have it, here is the link where you can click on this link, go ahead, book a one-to-one strategy review call with us, where we will be discussing on a one-to-one basis on your personal wealth. Because I understand this is a very generic session, we need to have a one-to-one discussion. You can click on this link, book your slot between Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. In case if you are wanting to book, otherwise, if the slots are not available, you have a team member's number, you have my number. Please feel free to ping me. Please feel free to reach out to us through WhatsApp, through calls, and we will be available for a one-to-one connect within this week or next week as soon as possible. Let's make 2025 a grand closing, and let's be prepared for 2026. I'll catch you up again in the month of December as a part of our monthly Investor Connect commitment. Till then, thank you so much. Namaskar and goodbye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.